Well, it's a beautiful day out today. I thought I'd take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about, well, how I run my business and how I get my customers, and basically how I allocate that money, take that money, and try to get more customers and still have enough to, just enjoy your life. So, all right, here we go. So the first thing I like to do is I like to start off by putting my ads on the internet. On internet, meaning that on Kijiji, or just do a little bit of a blog, or maybe just go ahead and make a YouTube video like I am here, Facebook, Twitter, all that fun stuff. So I usually spend time on there just basically putting out a promotion, or basically explaining why they should hire me compared to other competitors in my field. I'm really good at advertising. I'm on the first page of Google. I've been there for a while. I've done a lot of editing on my website just to try to surpass my competitors, my competition out there. My page has only been up for a year. There's been pages on there that's been up for over 10 years, and they're nice pages, they really are. But the only problem is that they really don't know much about SEO. So the problem with that is that they are on page 2, 3, 4, 5 of Google, Bing, and Yahoo, like all those search engines. So you really got to make sure that you know how to do SEO, or hire someone that knows how. Because without being on the first page of Google, you're relying on classifieds, meaning that you have to basically just put out your ads on free listing sites, and that doesn't work that well. It does work, don't get me wrong, but it's not nearly as well as if you were on the first page of Google. Usually you want to try to get to the top 3 or top 4 positions on Google on the first page. So that's pretty important to do for your company, or if you're even trying to sell things. I mean, of course, it's really important, because if people can't find you, they won't buy. And second thing is, you're going to have to get a lot of visitors to just make one sale. So on average, I make I get around I think it's like 250 people visit my site every day, and I only get maybe 50 people calling, which is pretty bad. But on the other hand, it's really good, because 50 calls a day, and I secure maybe around 80% of them. So meaning that they call, and 80% of the people that call, they say, sure, sounds wonderful, I'm glad I found you guys, when can you come? So that's the thing. It's just like fishing, you got to throw a lot of hooks out there if there's not a lot of fish, because the chances are greater when you put more hooks in the water, or use a fishing net. So that being said, now how do you get on the first page of Google? Well, there's a few things. First off, you got to kind of find who your competitors are. There's a lot of people out there that probably do the same thing you do, and there's a good chance that they do it in the same area as you as well. And that's if you're a local business. But if you're just selling things online, there's a lot of people out in this world that want to sell the same thing as you and have the same motivation, the same desire to make money. So what makes you better than them? So I'll kind of explain how you can kind of get yourself more noticed, and how to make yourself more money, and make yourself better than them in the terms of being higher ranked on Google, having a better reputation, just being known. Okay, well, how do you get yourself on the first page of Google? How do you make your site more popular? How do you make more money? How do you grow your business? Well, when I first started off, I didn't know what I was doing. So I was putting up ads on Kijiji, Craigslist, I even tried one ad in the local newspaper, one of those free ones you see in the very back, the small printed ones that you get. It's up there for a day or a couple of days, I forget. That was a long time ago, but I started off with that. I got a couple of customers every week. It was pretty bad. You know, the way it pretty well started was just doing a really good job giving out business cards. Business cards is really big. You'd be surprised how many people go out there and they just say, yeah, let me leave you my contact info, and then they just write it down on a piece of paper with a pen, and it's not very professional. Best thing to do is basically just go to Vista Print, or just go down to the local superstore like Walmart or Target or whatever, and from there just get yourself those little business cards, the blank ones. They're like 10 bucks a pack. I think there's 100 of them. There's quite a bit. And just print it out on your printer. It doesn't have to be color. You just print out a really nice black and white one with a little logo, your name, you know, a short description of what you do, your phone number, your website. That would be great. You can put down your Twitter, your Facebook. This is what my card looks like here. It's basically like this. So you go to Handyman Jack. I also have Handyman on Demand. I also have barbecues. I have a few companies now, and it gives me a little bit more time to myself, to my family. You know, trying to invest in a couple of different things, trying to make some money on that. You know, I'm 40 now, so getting a little older, so it's nice to kind of make sure that you're prepared for the future. I don't want to be working full-time when I'm an old man, trying to catch up on my retirement savings, or just to make ends meet with that small amount of retirement pension that we get here. So yeah, that's pretty well for that. Sorry, I'm going all over the place. So much stuff to talk about. And of course, you're more than welcome to ask questions down below if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. To get back to the first thing is, how do you get yourself on the first page of Google? Well, that's the thing. You have to basically focus on keywords. They don't use keywords as much anymore, but they're still really important to have. The reason being is that if you have a website and you're trying to sell apples, okay, and you put all your keywords as race car, building, grass, chair, you know, and you talk all about that, but you're trying to sell apples at the very bottom, it says click me to buy an apple, they're not going to go to your site. They're going to go to your site for what you're talking about, as in Google says, well, you're talking a lot about grass, you're talking a lot about trees and chairs, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to put you under the category of outdoor living, or just in this kind of market. It's not really going to be very smart to do. So when you want relevant content. So when you write about, in my case, Handyman, or barbecues, which is another one of my businesses, or whatever, then basically you're going to write at the very, very top of the page. The first thing you're going to write is what your site's about. So on mine, I put something like Handyman on Demand, or Handyman for Hire, Handyman Services. Even adding your area, if you're a local business, basically you can put down, if you are in New York, put down Handyman Services New York, or if you're in Canada, put down Handyman Services Toronto, or whatever the case is, and then Google will have a better understanding and of where you are, who you are, what you're trying to do, what's the point of this site. And then from there, it'll start reading the rest of the page, this bot, this Google bot, and it'll read the page. It's called the spider, I think. And the spider literally just reads all the content really quickly, catching up keywords of handyman, hammer, screws, deck, flooring, painting, ceiling fan, lights, etc. And then it'll say, okay, well, you have a lot of information on handyman and work in the, you know, in a home or whatnot. So they're going to know that you are what you are. I mean, you're basically promoting a handyman service. So it'll categorize you accordingly and help in the Google system will really understand what you are, what you want, and rank you accordingly. Now, you'll notice when you first put up your page, you're not going to be on Google right away. Sometimes some people are, but most of the time you got to wait. You got to wait a couple of weeks, maybe even longer. Now, when you are on Google page, whatever, now your main goal is to beat the #1 of the race at the very top. So in order to do that, you're going to have to do something called content editing, where you're literally just going to go ahead and just try to get all your information on your website nice and tight. Don't elaborate too much. I do a lot of elaborating, but on my site I really don't. I just literally cut to the chase. What's the purpose of my site? What do I want to do? What services do I offer? How do you contact me? Where do I offer my services? Some prices on there are great. It helps prevent people from calling in so much. I used to actually not have prices on my site, and I would get quite a few calls a day, and after a while it got quite annoying because a lot of people were just shopping around. So they call you and another 10 people or so that they would get information from on Google and those other classified ads, and from there they would just basically try to see who has the best price. And you want to make sure that your prices are not too cheap, because you're going to get people coming over, or you're going to go to their locations and they're just going to be really those are the people you want to kind of avoid. You want to charge a fair price, do a good job, give them your business card, tell them about yourself a little bit, just something. Don't go into a life story. Just say, yeah, I've been doing this for so many years. You know, oh hey, did you know that I went to this location? You know, and the famous baseball player, football player, whatnot. If it's true, don't lie. You know, just you know, make a little bit of chit chat. Just make it make a relationship with them, a business relationship. So that's a good way to do things too. Another good thing is to when you're on Kijiji or on classified ads, be a little careful of that, because you get a lot of people that call in and say, yeah, they want you to come, and then the day that you're supposed to go, either A, they don't show up, or B, it was a friend making the request for a friend as a prank or whatnot, or you're going to get there and they're going to haggle the price. So that means that you're going to get there, you told them you're going to charge them $100. Time the job is done, they're going to say, oh, I only have 80, so I'll give you 80 and I'll give you the $20 later. Then they don't pay you. And then it's just not worth chasing them down. You make a few calls, but it's just not, there's no point in just running after them for months over $20, and it's a very uncomfortable feeling. Even though it's only $20, when it's happened a few times, it doesn't feel good. It kind of really eats up your motivation to have the business and get out there and be your own boss, and trying to make a life for you and your family, and help out the community in many ways by being a handyman, because that's a pretty wide scope. Being a handyman, you can do a lot of things as a handyman, and a handyman is it's not a master of one. It's just basically he knows how to do everything, but hasn't done it, not dedicated to that specific task. Like a painter, I can paint. I have friends that can paint. They paint really well. They've been painting for maybe 5 or 6 years, 7 years, a couple of them, some of them even longer. But that being said, I mean, they don't do it every day. They don't have all the tools that professionals have. But a lot of these handyman jobs, they want you to come and paint their bedroom, paint their living room, you know, do a nice job for them. They want a nice job. They want it affordable. They want quality. But they don't need Picasso painted on their wall. They're not looking to spend $1 million. They just want some paint put on their wall, you know, and it's going to last them years and it's going to look nice. One thing is telephone numbers. It's really important to have more than one telephone number, and the reason being is that when you have one phone number that you give to your mom, your dad, your wife, your kids, your friends, you know, you don't want to link that to your business. And the reason being is nothing's worse than, you know, it's 11 o'clock at nighttime, 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, you're eating lunch, it's your lunch break, you're in the middle of eating you know, a nice hot bowl of soup or whatever, and then all of a sudden you get a phone call from a customer. Now for me, most of the time I just pick it up because I don't want to lose the job, but I have a lot of friends that own companies as well, and a lot of them just call them after they're done eating because they want to enjoy their food. They don't want to be interrupted. They're over at a restaurant or whatever with their friends, family, and just want to enjoy the moment to relax and eat some good food. So they don't really want to pick up. But when it's on your personal phone, you get a lot of people that call with unknown numbers, or you get someone calling like 6 times in a row. They just don't stop. They just call right after each other, not even 2 seconds between each call. And then when you think to yourself, well, this must be an emergency, could be I'm a gas fitter, so maybe it's a gas leak, maybe something happened that was serious. So I pick up the phone and I find out that they want their wall painted, or there's a crack in the wall, or they need a light changed in their bedroom, and they want to give $20 for you to drive out there and change a light that's like a half-hour drive away. And the only problem is that a lot of these customers, they don't really understand that $20 doesn't really cut it, and there's a few reasons for that. First off, if you're on Google, you spend a lot of time and energy and a lot of effort and even money in a lot of cases to get that WordPress theme up, with which you had to develop yourself or hire a developer or just purchased or got one for free. But you still have to pay for hosting, you still have to pay for advertising, you still have to pay for insurance. That's a big thing. You have to have insurance too, because if you make a mistake, since you're a handyman, you do a lot of different things, and some things you're okay at, and people are happy with your work, but you know in your heart that you're not a master of that one specific skill. So mistakes do happen, even to the best people out there. They do happen. So have insurance. It's really important, and that costs a lot of money. I mean, I have a larger vehicle, more on gas, more on everything. I have to use the toll routes here sometimes. That's to speed up my driving times, because sometimes it'll take a very long time to get to a customer's location. So if I take the toll route, it's a private road that people pay here to get onto a road there's a lot less traffic, because a lot of people don't want to pay. So it's nice for me because I just jump on there and I get from A to B at a pretty quick rate. And you're driving like 80 miles an hour down that. So that's pretty fast. It's not bad at all. So when someone calls in and says, yeah, you know what, I want to spend $20 to get that light change, they'll tell you it only takes 20 minutes. Come on. Yeah, no, but it's not their fault, because they don't really understand the back end of things, how much it costs for the secretary, or if you're answering the phones, how much it costs for your extra phone. You have to have a big business package, because you know you're gonna get a lot of calls, maybe not at the beginning, but you will. And when you do, you're going to be on the phone a lot. So you need to have an unlimited package with lots of text messaging, these days a lot of people like to have texts. You know, you're gonna need a lot of internet on your phone, because you might be at a job and someone says, hey, I want to have this light installed, and you're thinking, light, I can do a light, or even a light switch, anything like that. I just had a light switch last week. I got to the customer's place and I must have put in probably like 100 light switches over the last, I don't know, 3 months, 4 months, quite a few. And one customer called me over to put in a light switch, and I'm thinking, I could do this with my eyes closed. It's very easy. I get there and they pull out this computerized light switch. I'm thinking, what the heck is this thing? Looks like something from like a futuristic movie with like a, I don't know, it had so many functions on this. Had like a thumbprint scanner, had this a dimmer, but you just talk to it and it'll actually dim it. You can control it with your cell phone. It has all these really fancy features. I didn't know how to install that. I had like 10 wires back there. Usually I'm used to the 2 or 3 traditional wires, you know, or 4 depending on the circuit. But the thing about it is that, yeah, like I had to sit there and I was reading the manual, and that thing's in gibberish. It was just like a maybe 5 paragraphs with like 2 pictures, and the pictures were like really faded out. You could tell that the paper was just cheap. They didn't really put anything into that. I think they're trying to get you to go online to get the information. So I go online. The page isn't really well formatted. It doesn't look very good. So I jump onto YouTube and I find out how to do it. So I look at the YouTube, I watch it 2 times, 3 times. It makes sense to me, so I feel safe doing it. If I didn't feel safe, I tell the customer, I do apologize. I really, this is a light switch, it's not very common, a little bit confusing. I do apologize. Unfortunately, you know, there's no cost. I'm gonna have to refuse this job, because if I do attempt it, I could cause a big issue. So no, just skip that one if you don't feel comfortable. But anyways, I actually looked at the manual and it was pretty straightforward after I understood the wire coloring, and put it in, and works beautifully. I mean, works wonderfully. We tried it out many different ways. He even showed me on his cell phone how he did it, and through the cell phone it's voice activated, yeah, so it's, I don't even know, I can't even describe it. It's pretty cool. We didn't have them back like the traditional ones I have. It's just you flick it on, you flick it off, that's it. So yeah, just be honest with customers. If you struggle on something, just take a deep breath, learn about it a little bit more, and then get back to it and try it. There's been cases where I purchased things over at the store that I wasn't very familiar with. I would go home and I would try it. I would try to install it on my home. I would try something, and then and try it. Like, if it works, great, unplug it. About 2 hours later, try to install it again, or the next day try to install it again. Do it a few times until you really get comfortable and you know what you're doing. That's the safest method, because you don't really want to try things at a customer's home. You don't want them to be a guinea pig. So yeah, make sure that you know what you're doing. Don't mess people's houses up, because that sucks. You just don't want to do that. It doesn't feel good, and you know, it's not fair. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to the customer, especially. So yeah, I've been asked quite a few times what you need to be, or what you need to do to become a handyman. Becoming a handyman, well, there's 2 parts to it. Well, there's more than 2 parts, but I'll kind of touch first over these 2 parts that are really important. First thing is, anyone can be a handyman. Just, you know, cleaning someone's place, putting a table together with a screwdriver, helping someone move a TV from one room to another, or a piano, or whatever. It's just, anyone can be a handyman. The trick is what can you do as a handyman? All you can do is move boxes, is all you can do is I don't know, just help someone patch up a couple holes in a wall? Is that all you can do? Because if that's it, it's a good start. It really is, because we all have to start somewhere. I started off a long time ago as helping people move things in my car from point A to point B. So that's how I started, and then eventually I just kind of grew it, where I went to school again and got my gas license, gas fitter's license, and then I went and I got a few other licenses, welding licenses for people that need to have restaurants that need equipment welded back together, because they can't just go out and buy a new $17,000 deep fryer that you know, or a fridge that's a very large custom-made fridge. They need someone to professionally weld things that crack, and so I went to school for that, made some money with that. You know, I went to school for a few different things, even as a handyman for a computer, like video editing. Not that good, but better than the average, I feel, and I get a lot of compliments on it. So I get a few people that ask me if I can just take some time and help them out with the video, or you know, their web page SEO, their ranking on Google. You know, there's a lot of different things out there that you can do as a handyman. So best thing to do is just write it down on paper. Write down on paper what you can do. And when I say you could do, just don't say, oh, I can build a house, no problem. I watched a YouTube video, I know how to do it now. It doesn't work that way. You really got to know how to do it. And generally what I like to do is, before I do something new, I like to learn about it. I read up on it, YouTube it, I install it in my home a few times, try it out. You can always return the product if you know, you buy the product and you try it out for a few days and test it, and if it's an expensive item, I don't keep it, I return it. Unless it's really cool, then I keep it, but usually I regret it because it's cool but I don't need it, so I just wasted money, and that money could have been put into advertising, for Google AdWords, throwing yourself up on Kijiji on the top, or Craigslist, or the local newspaper, or magazines, or I don't know, many other things. There's a lot of places to advertise. So anyways, that's the first thing. You got to make sure that you know what you're doing before you do it, and if you don't know what you're doing, practice until you know how to do it properly, and just make sure you're not breaking any laws. So where I am, it's pretty light when it comes to handyman, meaning that you don't really need many licenses for any of this stuff, but it's very easy to be sued if you make a mistake. So yeah, that's why you have to have insurance, and be very careful. And you're playing with people's properties, so it's pretty serious. These people put a lot of hard work, a lot of energy into their home to make it beautiful for them and their family. So don't go over there and ruin their home. You're gonna end up on the 6 o'clock news, or sued, or you're just gonna lose your business. They're gonna put bad reviews online. So make sure that you do a good job and treat other people's homes as if it was your home. So that's that. Okay, so the second thing is that when you have a business, the second thing you need to do is have the license that you need. For instance, you need to have a license for you need to have your HST, or where tax license. I don't know if it's really called the license, but it's basically, you just got to register yourself as a contractor, because that's what you basically are when you're a handyman. You just go around to different people's locations and just do random things, and people call and say, hey, can you do this? And if you can, give them a price. A lot of the time they'll say, yeah, I'll call you back, I don't know, I gotta talk to the wife, or I'll talk to the husband, whatever. And then before you know it, they don't call you back. Or they do call you back and say, yeah, I could do it, but can you do it for 20 bucks less? Okay, well, maybe, it depends. Like, you know, usually my prices are very fair. I add maybe just a little bit to it because I know there's going to be negotiation in the end. So if I say, hey, listen, I'll install that light fixture and that light switch for you for $100, that's a pretty good price. And that's very fair. So I'll say I'll do it for 120, because I know they're going to say, oh, well, can you just do it for $100 flat? So there's always that negotiation game you have to be playing too. You have to be good at that game, because if not, that 20 bucks that you lose, if you start off at 100 bucks and you think that's what you want to make, you want to make 100 bucks, let's just say, and then all of a sudden he says 80 bucks and you're like, well, it's only 20 bucks difference, that's not bad. Well, you do that, by the end of the year, that's a lot of money. It really adds up. So if you know you need to leave there with at least 100 bucks in your pocket, you know, say I'll do it for 120, and they're not going to say, oh, we'll do it for 90 bucks or 80 bucks. People that go that low, you try to bump them back up to 100, and if they say no, okay, move on. Don't do it if you don't want to do it. But that being said, there's a lot of times I wake up in the morning, I'm tired, I've done a lot of advertising, I didn't have a good sleep, so yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll push myself to do it, because when I don't make any money, and I got mouths to feed. I need to pay bills, and not only that, but I have to have extra money so I can buy my new tools, or I can get more stronger in advertising. So meaning like advertise more on premium advertising sites, not just the free ones. Because like I said earlier, the free ones are okay. That's where I started. But holy jeez, man, you're gonna have nothing but headaches for a while, and it's very hard at the beginning. You need to have the right tools. That's a very big thing too. There's a lot of people out there that go there with a multi-head screwdriver. Those are the screwdrivers that you just pop out the top and put in the new tip, and it's a brand new screwdriver. It's a different screwdriver now. Usually you want to actually have the proper ones. There's nothing wrong with the ones that you could just get at the dollar store or whatever, but I mean, it's not very attractive when you walk into a customer's with the dollar store bag, tool bag, and tools, and they know, customers know. Another thing you need to do is make sure that you're dressed appropriately. So if you're a smoker, if you like to smoke, make sure that you smoke a bit before you go to the customer. Don't just have a cigarette in their driveway, throw it on the road, and then just run on into their home, because it really turns people off. I hate it. If someone came into my home and they smelled like cigarette, I would be really disgusted, and I wouldn't really want them there, especially I have a child. So it's very important to have be respectful, and I'd go in with a blank shirt, like white or black or whatever. It doesn't matter the color. Just go in there with something that's nice. Go in there with some nice light pants if you want something a little, not too baggy, but a little loose, so you can squat and bend and do all your things without worrying about ripping them or not being comfortable yourself, because you got to be comfortable. You got to focus on what you're doing, not focus on, damn, my pants are tight or way too loose, or my shirt is uncomfortable, because you're sweating and you're moving a lot. So trust me, you'll really feel it, especially after you work 8 hours in clothes that's not comfortable, or shoes or whatnot. Oh, shoes, that's another big thing. Wear some good shoes, something that's nice and comfortable, but it's really important if you're going to be doing things that are potentially dangerous to your feet, like bricks or anything like sharp, that might be a little heavy, you might lose control of, and it might fall onto your feet. It's preferable that you wear steel toe shoes. I don't like the boots, it's uncomfortable, heavy, so I like to get the really nice light steel toe shoes. It's not even steel, actually. The ones that I have, there's like a very, very hard plastic, and it's certified, so it's really safe. It's good. I mean, I wouldn't want to throw a brick on it, but I'm pretty sure it would actually probably handle it. It would probably break, but not my feet. It'll just break the shoe, and I can live with that. And when you go to a customer's place, always wear booties. They're almost like little sleeves, or a little it's like a little they're coveralls for your shoes, so you don't mess up people's place. Last thing you want to do is do a really beautiful job. You're happy, you're excited, you're ready to go home, and all of a sudden you're cleaning up after yourself, and then there's stains on the floor, and then you're there for another half hour just trying to take those stains out. It's not fun. I've had that done to me before. Stupid mistakes like, oh, I'm only going to be here for 20 minutes, I'll just run in and run out, and there you go. I've done that a long time ago. I learned my lesson, because first off, like I said, it's disrespectful. We got there might be children there that play on the ground, play with toys on the ground. You're stepping all over the place, and these kids put their toys in their mouth, or you just cause an inconvenience to them and possibly damage to their property too, because some of these stains, they just don't come out depending on what you use. I don't know if you ever use PVC glue, but that's basically the glue that you use to put two pieces of plastic together. One drop of that on the rug, you're replacing the rug. Guaranteed you can't get that out. It literally melts everything that it touches, and that's what the glue, this special glue, is. So it's a very good quality. I love using it. You got to be very careful. Use blankets, meaning that you know, when you go to someone's house and do a job, put some tarps, some blankets down on the ground that you have, some old ones. That way, if you do drop anything, a tool, your feet are little or whatever, your hands are dirty, you touch the ground, or you're on your knees, and you know, whatever, you just want to make sure you have a good blanket on the ground, just to make sure that everything's nice and clean. Okay, what else is there to say? It's pretty important to basically make sure you just keep clean, keep professional. You know, like I said earlier, just do the best job you can. Make sure the best that you can do is good enough for the customer. And word spreads, you know, like if you do a good job, absolutely, customers are going to leave you good reviews online. Might even go and tell their friends. They might even know. They might work in a company that they can even put your card, your business card, up on the wall at their job, at their work. And that could really help too, because then you have access to possibly hundreds of people. That's your company up in their lunchroom or up on their board at their work, and lots of people are seeing that, and they might not need you today, they might not need you tomorrow or next week, but they will need you probably. There's a good chance. Everyone needs a handyman for something. Everyone, even me, everyone needs a handyman for something. So because I can't do everything out there. There's too many things. I just basically specialize, or basically I'm a handyman for maybe 30-40 things. That's it. But there's hundreds of things out there that's needed, you know, in the same bucket as handyman. So as the title of handyman. So you really got to make sure that you know, you can't do everything. Just specialize in what you like doing. Do a good job, learn about it, learn as much as you can. And things change. There's new paints out there, there's new technology, there's new this, there's new that. So you really got to make sure that you know, you kind of really understand what you're doing. So just don't say, oh yeah, oh, you want me to put a new roof on your house? Yeah, no problem. Or new shingles? You never done it, and you can't just watch a YouTube video and say, yeah, I could do it for you, mister. Let me be at your location tomorrow and I'll charge you $5,000 or 10 or 20 or 100 or whatever you're going to be doing on the roof. You charge accordingly if it's shingles or, you know, whatever it may be. And you don't want to go there with a big smile and then just do a really stupid job. You don't want to do that, because it's going to come back and haunt you forever, because these people don't forget, and once it goes online, you can't take it down. They'll share it, they'll tweet it, they'll Facebook it, they'll do everything just to tell people, hey, don't go to this guy because he's just gonna take your money, do a bad job, and run. And even if you get away with it for the first few times, where customers saying, you didn't do a good job, but I'm not gonna complain, you know, you're gonna get one customer that's just gonna say, I'm gonna make sure that the world knows what you did, and I'm not going to stop until you shut down or whatever. and you get those. You really do. There's a lot of type of people in this world, so you got to make sure that you really try to accommodate everyone, and then you don't have to be afraid of these kind of people, because you're doing a good job for everyone, and even if they're not happy, they're satisfied with what you've done for the price they paid, and then they just let you go. You know, if you charge them a lot of money and butcher their property, you know, putting a nail in a wall and hitting it with the hammer and ending up with a leak because that nail went through the drywall and punctured a pipe or electricity, and that could be, you could be in a world of pain. And like I said, that's where tools come in, because there's a tool to tell you if there's electricity or pipes or what's behind the drywall. It's almost like an x-ray machine. They call it a stud finder. You just put on the wall and you rub it on the wall, and they got fancy ones out there. So it's great. It tells you what's behind the wall. It's not always accurate, but at least you know there's something behind that wall that you don't want to be playing with. A pipe, some piece of metal, you know, something like this. What else? What a beautiful day out today. It's like 25 degrees here in Toronto. I'm at Earl Bales Park, and just getting some exercise, sharing my thoughts with you. I apologize that I'm all over the place. I just want to really kind of touch a little bit of everything. I should write this stuff down and then kind of categorize it and just talk to you in portions of more of a specific topic. But I just felt like pulling my car over, taking a walk, talking to you guys. So here I am. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, don't hesitate to ask. I'm really open. I'm happy to just answer anything. If I don't know the answer, I know a lot of people that probably will know the answer that are in this field. So, you know, I can do some research. I love learning. So if you have a question and I don't know it, I'll learn the answer. Back up that answer with more people saying the same thing. So I'm just not throwing you something that somebody told me. I'll make sure I get the facts straight, and then I'll get back to you with the answer. Also, I'm really trying to boost my channel up. I'm starting to really enjoy making some videos and sharing my experiences and, you know, all that stuff. So if you could just go ahead and like a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment, that would be great. And like always, have a beautiful day, enjoy the weather, enjoy life, learn, prosper, and make the world and yourself a better place. Sorry, I almost forgot. If you don't mind, I need you to like, subscribe, and comment. I'm really trying to boost up my YouTube channel here, sharing my experience, getting comments, helping people out. So yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, and give me some ideas for my next video, because I'm really all over the place here and I don't have any sense of direction, so I'm just kind of throwing everything that comes to my head. So yeah, give me some ideas. Thank you. Bye-bye.